Great day, beautiful people. Miss Shay, the Sensual Shaman, here back with you guys for a full moon reading. I haven't done one of these in a while, but something about the energy felt like I wanted to come in and support you guys because the energy is that we are all diving for light. All right, this beautiful image. She sort of looks like she's a sort of sea creature. She's got seahorses next to her and this sort of regal crown. And it feels like we're coming to position ourselves as we see ourselves, right? This sort of seeing ourselves as royalty, perhaps. And as we dive for light, it undoubtedly means that we are going to meet some sort of inner conflict or outer conflict, right? Because as we dive for greatness, as we go for gold, as we go towards our goals, sometimes we hit a roadblock. And this is exactly what this card talks about. It says that the darkness might be a creative block, a sense of being in a void, or feelings of depression, rage, sadness, fear, or anxiety, right? So it's like, it's just that cycle of, yes, I have this great idea, and then boom, roadblock, right? Or you keep going, you have the first draft, or you have the project, or you have a couple things under your belt, and then boom, you hit this sort of obstacle. But this, as my Reiki master, Central Shaman, said, she does not have obstacles, she has initiations. And so this is a great and grand initiation that is being opened up during the time of this full moon cycle, or over the course of probably the next 21 to 30 days. And I felt this energy also in the May collective reading. It was that there is a dark wound that we were needing to release in order to let love live. So we're already here. We're already getting a taste of it during this full moon. And I looked up to see, I asked Spirit, what are some of the darknesses that we might be coming face to face with? And something that I have here from my Dark Mirrors deck was gilded regret. Right, so some of the darkness that we meet, the block that we have, is that we're steeped in regret. And we've got the Nine of Swords here, right? This sort of, like kind of, I feel like this sort of putting yourself down, like, oh, you're such an idiot, you're such a failure, why did you say that, why didn't you come more prepared, right? We might have hit something in our or possibly even in our relationships. No, I shouldn't have said that, right? So we are steeped in regret, and it's making it hard to move on. And then others feel, or many of us still, this could be and or fated to suffer. Right, so we kind of have this Snow White card, but what I really, really love about this card and the message of this card is that why do we only see the story of Snow White here, right? Breaking the old narratives, and that again is coming, it came up in the May reading. Death is the healing, right? Death is the ultimate healer because it relieves ourselves. This is from Words from My Liminal Space deck. It relieves us of the burden and the pain of our old stories. So perhaps this isn't just normal Snow White. What if the witch is good? What if this is a blessed apple, right? Fated to suffer feels like we feel like, oh well, this is bound to end badly. And so releasing that, as we die for light, right, as we reach out for our crowns, we have to let go of the idea that we're fated to suffer. No. And during one of my self pleasure sessions, and I'll probably share this in my messages in the messages from the honeypot series, i had this I had this revelation that I don't need to be afraid, that there's nothing to be afraid of, that this is making me and not breaking me. I literally felt that revelation come and pour over me through my suspended state of orgasmic energetic, composition, right? As that sort of energetic orgasmic level starts to gain potency, I felt that I'm not fated to suffer. This is making me, that this love is making me, this relationship, this project. I'm not fated to fail, right? That whatever happens next is making me. So we are not fated to suffer. I want to read a little bit of this. If you know the future, you forsake your choices. Only with no fate, life is free to unfold into unknown shores, right? So this sort of uh, oh, I know this is how it ends. And it's like, well, if you know that this is how it ends, then aren't you now removing yourself from the choice to do different, to be different, to say something different, right? So, abolishing this, absolutely breaking this idea that you are fated to do anything, because then you take away your sovereignty and you always have choice. And so you can choose to see some, suffering is imminence, right? Grief, it talks about here, divorce, death, being exiled from a relationship, or just feeling this sort of severing from relationships. Suffering happens, right? But we do not have to attach this sort of story that it is fated and then in such a way that we will not be made whole again, right? There is always something more. And so beautifully we and this is why this message is so important, because I want to give you guys the tools and the language so that this darkness, this block, this initiation does not hit you out of nowhere and you feel like, yes, this is, I called this in, right? In a sort of sense, right? It gives me some authority. It keeps me um in my power, right? It keeps me in my power, which is exactly what this calling in the storm is talking about. We have this beautiful shaman, priestess, warrior, goddess. It looks like she's got her staff and the wind is blowing around her and she is sturdy and firm and like, what's up, right? So let's read a little bit of this card, because it has some really beautiful messages. It says, there is time to find and release our power. Like a spring that has been compressed to the point it has lost the memory of motion and movement, yet there is power inside of it. Finding it is called empowerment. It starts from the belief in our power. So, yes, man, right? That is how you know that you are different, right? Yeah, this might seem like a similar pattern happening, but now you see yourself as this warrior who, obstacles, like, I got this, right? Belief in your power will help you dive for light and meet these challenges and changes. Too often, we are encouraged to see empowerment as something that happens only within our psychological space. We are not necessarily islands, right? We do not have to do this alone. We can borrow the power of the world around the environment. We do not control the storm, we just call it. To call the storm, we need not to fear it. And this is what will make us strong, right? So, this is what this message is doing. It is asking you to no fear, no fear, right? After the storm, there is always sun. So, if the sky has been gray for too long, it's time not to fear the storm, but to embrace it. It will grow up and devour our chains and our jailers. Ooh, amen. The storm will grow up and devour our chains and our jailers, and it will hurt us as well. But it will be healthier than just to stare at the chilly rain. We can restart only after we let ourselves end. Like I said, death is the healing came up in the May collective reading for our own individual selves. So you might as well come on, you might as well get on the ride, right? You might as well call it in. Don't get swept up by it, embrace it. And then, of course, coming out with the calling the storm, the tower. And I know that came up in a weekly a couple of weeks ago. It feels like you guys, through your remembering of your power, you called in this tower moment. You said spirit was like, oh, okay, they have remembered their power. Tear down that which is no longer needed, because she is in her power. They are in their power, right? And then there was something really beautiful here that resonated as well. Borrowing the power of the world around us, right? So not only finding power in our own selves, in our mantras, in our morning rituals, right, but also borrowing power from nature, feeling the sun and remembering that you know what I mean, seeing yourself in the sun, seeing the freedom of the birds and resonating with that, feeling the groundedness of your plants and the trees and resonating with that, remembering that you are a part of nature as well. So borrowing power from the earth is exactly what's happening with this earth magic card that came out. And I'm also feeling like if you guys want to get some Reiki, hit me up. Hit up Sister Shaman if you guys want some other Reiki practitioners. I do know several. Frankie, who else? I know so many Reiki practitioners. So if you're interested and you're not resonating with me necessarily, there are so many people, and this feels like Reiki to me. It is the spark. It is the um activation of this a cellular, right? It's like a cellular thing. This power that you feel from the earth comes up to meet you, meets your feet and resonates in your cells, in the very this sort of electricity from the ground that pours and flows into you. And that is exactly what Reiki is. So yeah, we have called this in. Know that we have called in this moment because we have decided to dive for the light, right? We have called in this sort of duel between ourselves and our shadow selves, between ourselves and our insecurities. We have called in our fears because we have said, I want to dive for more light. I want to be more loving. I want to be more activated. I want to be more electric. I want to be more, right? I want to not be more even. I want to be I want to be as God sees me. I want to be as my mother sees me, right? I want to be the embodiment of power, right? I want to be an expression of light. And when we want to be an expression of light, of course the old stories and the old narratives come to meet us and say, "Hold up, you sure?" Right? We have to meet those challenges so that spirit's like, "Okay, she ready for real." Right? We've come in to knock some things down and to solidify and fortify you as this new embodiment. Like I said, I've been seeing myself as a fairy. I keep joking on my Instagram stories that I'm living my best fairy life, and like seeing myself, because I really, it's something that I'm saying to myself because I feel different and I feel like a lighter person, but it's also an invitation to remember. And like, I want, I'm adorning myself in such a way so that people see light, right? Like, they're like, oh, she looks bright. Like, I want to feel that. So I do it for myself first. And then that resonates, right? When I look like this, I act different, right? Changing your environment changes your experience. So that is exactly what it is. And we will be met with some regret. We might feel like, ugh, am I destined to fail or suffer? And the truth is, the past is the past, right? The past is the past. Be gentle with yourself, self-soothe, do the ha'apano, do the mantra, the please forgive me, thank you, I love you, right? That one. And forgive yourself. Like, you're not fated to suffer. Suffering happens, yes, but see this as a new story you're about to tell, and have fun, have fun, have fun, have fun. um, do not be so struck by this bout of creative block, or perhaps even some death in the family, right? Because the complacency card came up as well, right? And depression makes us complacent, right? Fear makes us complacent and makes us just want to sit and let life pass us by, let the seasons pass us by. But we also got, I feel like these are the two sides of the same coin, right? We can either choose complacency or step into the abundance and the diving for light, right? Literally, this this person over here, I don't know if y'all can see that. It's a little blurry. She's literally diving through this vents, through this whatever, y'all know, like the street sewers, and diving. She's literally diving for gold, right? So you can either continue to dive for gold, which will trigger you, or you can sit down and make sure that nothing ever triggers you ever again. And I'm just going to sit by and hope no one bothers me and hope no one agitates me, and I'm just going to let life happen to me. However, you are in power. You have the power, right? You have the power to call in the storm, and you have the power to face the storm. I'm going to read this part again. If the sky has been gray for too long, it's time not to fear the storm, but to embrace it. It will grow up and devour our chains and our jailers, and it will hurt us as well. But it will be healthier than just to stare at the chilly rain. We can restart only after we let ourselves end. And as we let ourselves end, as we allow death to be the ultimate healer, do so gently, 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 and so with much grace, and do it with some community. Please continue to support Haji Healing Salon and other women are also holding space, other men are holding space for us to grow and evolve together. So let yourselves in and do so gently, and let the earth medicine help you. Okay. Peace, you guys. I will see you on the next one. Happy full moon.